Ba, 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 ba. The word giving. Ho, 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 kids.
Now I have a machine gun.
That's true. That's what I wrote on my chest. Welcome to a holiday edition of Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Hey,
Oh,
kids, it's the holidays, in case you couldn't tell. I don't just wear this in August. This only comes out for the Mass of Christ. Sorry,
oh.
Christmas. We've all had our fucking Thanksgiving. We're
Did
all
you have a good time?
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Thanksgiving, I had so many, like back in the day, pre-vegan days. Like Gail would make turkey, no bullshit, turkey and mashed potatoes 3 times, 4 times a week. So when I went vegan, I was like, I've had a lifetime of turkey. I'm good. So obviously we didn't have turkey, but we had these vegan filet mignons that I made on the grill.
Ooh.
I made burgers, Beyond Burgers, and sausages, brats, and stuff. So it was, and we had family and friends. It was lovely. Mostly the kids' friends, mostly family on our side, and then the kid brought some friends and stuff.
I mean, you
Deacon,
could have had the
Deacon
you
came. We had our boy Deacon come over, man.
oh nice. You could have
Yeah,
lived
40
the
X.
you could have lived the dream of an all sides Thanksgiving, which is like, you know what? All we're here for is this shit that we cover in salt and gravy and butter.
We had 3 different kinds of mashed potatoes from 3 different fucking vegan joints, just in case.
Nice.
You don't want to be in the midst of any kind of Thanksgiving and suddenly you're like, the fucking mashed potatoes suck. That's all. I don't ask for much. Just fucking
I don't have much left.
no.
Just make these work.
There's a place called Doomie's, which says like comfort vegan food out here, and they make these mashed potatoes that taste like like cafeteria mashed potatoes, which is my favorite mashed potatoes.
Ooh.
Cafeteria mash with like fucking gravy on it and shit. They found a way. They cracked the code over at Doomie's where I was like, this shit tastes fucking fantastic. It must be made of mushrooms or something. I don't know. But in any event, Kevin looks stone. Somebody says I look stoned to the bone. Not at all. It's the hat. It's rather tight. Also, a lot of crying today, kids. We had a loss in the family. Um, Harley, my daughter's bunny of a decade, Cinnamon, part of the family for 10 years, passed away. Made it to be 12 years old. So it was a very emotional day. My kid, I'm happy to report, hasn't really had to deal with much death over the course of her existence. I feel good as a parent that it was some, I mean, probably didn't have much to do with me, but like my dad died when she was like 2, 3. So like that didn't register with her as much, obviously, as it did with me. And, we've lost dogs, but the dogs predated her in many cases. And, she cried, but like this was Cinnamon and her, that was her fucking familiar, man. It's like, so it was a bad, but, at the same time, it was sad. I shouldn't say bad. There was, so many platitudes shared about hey man, don't be sad it's over, be happy it ever happened, and things like that. But I never interacted much with rabbits in my life, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man, I was sad to see her go. I'm not just because the kid fucking loved her and stuff, but she had real attitude. She was a rescue bunny, and I'm like, who fucking gets rid of bunnies? Apparently there are people that do that. And she had an ear that was split, like it was damaged. She got fucked up wherever she came from and whatnot. And so naturally, the kid is so fucking tenderhearted and shit. And this is when she was 15. She was like, I want that one. So she brought Cinnamon home. Cinnamon was like all attitude. And she used to do, like, Harley got a little staircase so she could come up on the bed if she wanted to. in the middle of the night, like Cinnamon would take the stairs up, sit on Harley's chest, and take a shit or a piss. And I was like, that's hysterical. She's like, she loves me. I was like, is that what that means? Um, but yeah, so it was. So if I look, somebody said I look stoned, but there was a lot of tears, shocking amount of tears for somebody who, it wasn't my rabbit, but
Mm.
we don't just grieve those that we know and love. Sometimes we, grieve those who have made an impact in the lives of those we love. She fucking loved that rabbit, man. Like and this was her biggest like loss to date, which again, I feel, kind of like, man, that's not bad. Again, not like I have the power over life and death and I kept death away from her or something like that, but
Well, you moved her out of the hood, so that's good.
I'm just happy I was able to, I mean, if this is the worst thing that happened to her, then I feel like
That's a win.
I'm doing good. But man, oh man, it was a loss. Just like, all the dogs. I got 5 boxes with cremains in them. We got a whole fucking museum of dead things in this house, man. And the dogs, they all go in a special case with lots of pictures of them and stuff like that. And I got my old man is sitting over there in an urn and shit like that. They told Harley that they were like, they were telling her like what color the ashes were going to be because they don't um, cremate bodies like that's, I guess, environmentally unsound. Now there's a different process that involves water and chemicals or something. But they were like, at the end of the day, the ashes will be white, not black. And I was like, ashes are black? Like I didn't know who opens the box. Like I've got 6 boxes, 5 dogs, 1 dad. Never once was ever like, let me see what's inside this. What is this? The big fucking Lebowski? But that was a useless piece of information that I thought was conveyed. But something that as a writer, I was like,
Good to know. Lost.
truly. I was grieving for my kid, but at the same time, the writer in me was just like, really?
I know. I was that same way. The only time I've ever been arrested, it was it was definitely one of those, this sucks, but I've never been in the back of a squad car before. Like, I've never had my fingers printed. I've never worn cuffs. This is all interesting.
What, pray tell, did you do to get fingerprinted?
I was, God, this would have been like 30 years ago. 30 years ago? Yeah. I was in Florida with my then girlfriend, now wife, and I had rented a car, but my license had been revoked in New Jersey. And so somehow I was able to rent this car even though my license was revoked. So we got pulled over for driving while interracial in Daytona Beach, Florida.
that's on the that's a law on the books, is it?
That's pretty much, that's how it goes down.
30 years ago? No way. No.
Shut out.
Wow. Fucking, oh my God, man. Like you got profiled and shit.
I got profile. And so they pulled the car over. And it was also a Volvo we had rented because we were both like, stylish and practical. And so they pulled over the car and they're like, do you have any weapons in the car? And I was like, no, man, I'm on the beach with my girlfriend. Like, what is happening here? It's like, let me see your license. Your license has been revoked. We have to arrest you. Like, this is technically a misdemeanor. No, this is technically a felony. We have to arrest you. Bail is going to be like $50. You can post it yourself or your lady person can post it. But, we got to take you in. I was like, oh, fuck, this. Okay. And then writer brain is like, so this is what it is.
This will be useful.
I know. Do you think I could punch out this glass in this back seat?
I think we probably have spoken about this over the years. Now it's all ringing bells and shit. But
so back to you now.
Were you terrified?
Not really. I didn't know enough to be terrified. I probably should have been a bit more scared, but it also wasn't a aggressive interaction. Like I wasn't thrown on the ground. It wasn't, for whatever reason, this particular dude was not like pulling his gun on me. So it didn't have the vibe of, oh, there's danger involved. And I was like, oh, it seems like a fine I'm going to at some point pay. This is just a pain in the ass.
Mm.
I with today's brain, given the events of the last 15 years or so, I probably should have been a bit more apprehensive about it. But at the time, it was still like, this is what I'll be. This is what cuffs feel like.
Um, what was did who bailed you out?
I ultimately did. It was like $50 because they're like, as long as you don't drive anymore and we're keeping your license, and if your girlfriend can drive the car, you're fine. Um, and so I paid the bail. I had to then fly back down there and appear in court to clear my name so that it would be expunged from my record. Um, but yeah, ultimately it was just a pain in the ass more than a issue.
I have had run-ins with the law as well. I
You ever
don't
read it?
know if like, do you have a record because of that?
I don't like because I flew back down there and appeared in court. They then declassified it from felony to misdemeanor, and the bail sort of took care of it. And I think that sort of thing, like misdemeanors, nobody gives a shit about. And I'm also not running for office anytime soon. Um, so
Oh,
yeah,
not yet.
not now.
um, were you here? Normally, in an instance like that, like it's just involving the police. Nobody wants to be involved with the police until they want the police involved.
Right.
So when somebody gets pulled over and like in any incident, profile or not, it's just like, oh man, like still to this day, I don't know why. It's not like I like run some sort of criminal enterprise, but because I was raised in a place where the Middletown cops like were known for like ticketing, and when you were a kid in high school, it was like, oh my god, points, I'll lose everything and stuff. That is like still an inherent fear, like getting pulled over and stuff. So
Mm.
much so that it would make me shit my pants, which leads us to our first sponsor of the evening.
Oh, I like how you did that, sir.
There's a lot of leather on that shoe, but we got there.
It was a lot of pipe on that particular fitting, but
The only problem is I can't remember which one's going first. That's why I left shit and pants, because it could go either way at this point.
it is the perfect gene. So
Then there you go, kids. Shit your pants all you want when you got the perfect gene, man. I've worn this shit. This is fantastic. This is the material I've been waiting for my whole life. I have a body that is not very, let's say, off the shelf common. I can't just walk into a store and buy a thing. My weird ass body, demands space in places that traditionally some places don't make space for their consumer. Perfect gene. It's like they paint this shit on me, man. That's how perfect the perfect gene is. Oh my god. Uh let me throw you their address so you can follow along, kids. I like to start with the call to action and shit, so that while you're watching, you can actually go to the website, because that's what you do when this happens. It's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectgene.nyc. That is ThePerfectJean.NYC. Our listeners get 15% off their first order, plus free shipping, man, free returns, and free exchanges when you use the code FATMAN15 at checkout. FATMAN15. You're going to get 15% off for all the new customers, man, at theperfectgene.nyc with the promo code FATMAN15. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you, man. Fuck your khakis and get the perfect gene. Mark, you've worn the perfect gene.
I have indeed. I stand by the perfect gene.
Right?
It is like a very lovely cradle to your undercarriage. It is just keeping you supported, healthy,
And
alive.
it's you know what? Like a the top floor of a building or the hull of a ship. It gives a little bit.
Yeah, a little sway.
Yeah, after like, look, I'll be honest. This is post Thanksgiving, man. This is the time when I need comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So Perfect Gene provides that, man. It shapes around me. It doesn't force me into some fucking shape, Mark, and tell me I gotta be like everyone else. It respects my shape and just forms around it. This shit's almost like sci-fi. It's like something out of Star Trek. Mark knows a thing or two about Star Trek.
I do, man. Beam me into these jeans, son.
Exactly. This is the kind of thing where, like, in the future, you'll walk in, they'll scan you, and they're like, here's the perfect gene. They're doing it. The future is now. Fucking, you don't have to wait for Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry didn't know what he's talking about. Perfect Gene understands the future is now.
Yes. The future's now. So fucking, get yourself some goddamn perfect jeans. It's finally, as Kevin said, time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans. Go to theperfectgene.nyc. ThePerfectGen.nyc. Our listeners will get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges if you use the code FATMAN15 at checkout. Again, it's 15% off new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code FATMAN15 at checkout. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. So support our show and tell them we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get the perfect gene.
Denim like a gene. The perfect gene. .nyc. NYC is like a .com now?
Anything can be if you want it to be.
Is that right? Like, yeah. I'm shocked, like, back during Clerks 3, where they were like .movie. And I'm like, what's that? They're like, that's a whole thing. So really? So you could just get, like, anything?
Yeah, you could do Kevin.Smith if you wanted, and that can just be your fucking website.
Taint.
I mean, taint here, taint there, taint everywhere.
How far can we take this?
A little further.
.shithole. That'd be amazing.
Ooh, .com.
Kevin Smith .shithole. Like, fucking people, you'll never forget that. It's already burned into your brain. You're already, somebody's grabbing it out from under me right now.
I know. .matrix.
.matrix.
How
about .
Ooh.
Right? Because then I'd be like dot. People are like, are you sending a message? I'm like, yes.
That Morse code? Yes,
Morse
please.
Code. You know what? We'll talk about many things tonight, kids, and we're going to be here for fucking hours. I'll tell you right now. Somebody, the year-end shit's going on and whatnot. And somebody put a thing up on my Twitter that I saw that they were like, this is the longest podcast I listened to this year, and it was an episode of our show.
It was your solo
430 episode. It was like I listened to a 4.5 hour podcast this year. We're gonna have one of those tonight. No, we probably won't go 4.5 hours, kids, but we have so much to talk about. So many things have been fucking seen.
Oh yeah,
we must weigh in on. You have to know what we think about these things.
That's why we're here.
Hell yeah. Let's start with
You want to start with Penguin? You want to clean up some Penguin?
Fucking Penguin was phenomenal. Penguin was far better than it had any right to be. Like, it's fantastic. Penguin was so good that I watched those things after the show where they talked to the creatives.
Yeah, I watched those too.
I was like, and show you my fucking like old timey comic bookness. I was like, this whole thing was created by a lady. Like, it was fucking, it is compelling as fuck, man. Like, just, and most mob stories when I was young, like Mario Puzo, fucking Francis Ford Coppola, even with The Sopranos, what was his name? David Chase. This was a mob saga that like had a different pedigree, and it was fucking equally as compelling. And add to it, it's the fucking Penguin. Like, I'm telling you, man, I got no vision whatsoever. Because when they fucking put him in the Batman, I was like, it's fine, I guess. Like, looks good. Seems like a lot of work, a lot of makeup, a lot of fucking fat suit. But and when they announced we're doing a whole ass show, I was like, and why? Why that guy? This is some of the best DC ever. like up there with Batman the animated series, man. And Batman even in it. Spoiler.
Nope.
Never showed up. I thought maybe at the end they're fucking, you see you see the signal, and I was like, you know what, more than enough, totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about the beginnings of it. I was like, you know what, it's a perfectly good mob show if what you want is a mob show. I just come off rewatching The Sopranos, and so I was like, well, it's not that, but it's fine. But then the fucking Sophia Falcone story kicked in.
That
Then,
that's where it takes off. The two of them together, like he's crazy fucking good. If he don't get nominated for an Emmy, fuck if he don't win.
yeah.
Did you see the clip online of him in the penguin outfit, but talking like Colin Farrell?
So weird.
Like right away, you're like, give that guy all the awards. I forgot that's what he sounds like. Yeah, he was great, but she, like, I'm not gonna say what a discovery because she's been around for a minute, but my God, this was the role where she fucking popped for everybody, right? Like, seems everybody now knows her, has noticed her, has been like, oh my God, she's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she real honestly made that show appointment television.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I remember when Tatiana Maslany broke on Orphan Black. And everybody's like, who the fuck is that girl? She's doing like 8 different characters and they're all really great. And I feel like this is that moment for Kristen Milioti, even though, again, like you said, she's been around forever. She's
She's
been
in
working.
one of the best Black Mirrors of all time.
Yeah. She's in that. She's in, what is that? The USS Hollister?
Yeah, or whatever, the Star Trek one.
Yeah. I mean, she was on How I Met Your Mother, at
Never,
this point.
I never fucked with that show. Was she the mother?
I believe she was. I
She was
believe
also in 30 Rock. She was like one of the writers.
she was the ditzy, like, the baby blonde.
And she was in that movie with Adam Sandberg where they like go in the cave and they keep going back in time or
Palm
whatever.
Springs. Yeah.
Palm Springs. That was a really good flick too. But
Yeah.
man, oh man, like just fucking just she, you know what? I hate to borrow from the children, but she ate, Mark. She ate well.
She
Fuck. And to be fair, she was fed though. Like they set her up to spike the ball. Hats off to the entire creative team, but particularly the fucking writer or writers or like that honestly, that made me like go. I was like, you know what? Maybe I gotta rewatch the Batman. And I did. Like after we were done, even my wife, like Jennifer, loved the Penguin. And so I was like, you want to like, do you remember watching the Batman? She was like, I don't know. I was like, let's go back. And it's a nice companion piece, man. But the Penguin is superlative. Like,
yeah, super strong.
Oh my God. And it makes a lot of shit. Like I was always caught off guard by like the last, half hour or 45 minutes of the Batman, because like, where'd this fucking flood come from? Like, they want to set this up a little bit better. And I know there's some people have been like, they said something about the seawall, blah, blah, blah. I get it, whatever. I hear an alarm.
Yes, Chad is correcting me. It's the USS Callister, not Hollister.
There it is.
There it is.
I hear an alarm, but I think it's the neighbors. Yeah, they just shut it off. I was like, oh my God, home invasion in the middle of the show.
Keep the camera on.
You see a guy go running by in a background, white t-shirt, no fucking shoes, firing a machine gun and shit.
Chase them finsta.
They're like, we've done every variation of Die Hard. Now we're in Die Hard in your house. Yeah, she was phenomenal. She better get a fucking Emmy or at least a nod. I mean, not like, believe me, I'm not like holding that up going like, that's what makes a difference. But like somebody fucking shout, like, look, you really want to reward these two people? Give them big jobs with lots of money.
Yes.
They fucking deserve it. Give him another season. It doesn't sound like he wants to put that suit on ever again.
I mean, it's like, can I be a supporting character in the Penguin show?
It was worth it, man. I'm sure it was uncomfortable and whatnot, but fuck, it was magical, man. You can't see him; he disappears.
Yeah,
and he made Oswald compelling. I didn't even mind that they called him Cobb. there's a stickler part of me. It was like cobble pot, like finish it. But I'm like, and again, like who thinks, hey man, let's reinvent the penguin? Last time they did that, it was Danny DeVito, and he was like, kind of had the flippers and shit like that.
Eating
But
raw.
generally speaking, it's like just get him in a tux and you're there. But they came up with an entirely compelling backstory. I deeply impressed, like beyond impressed. Looked forward to it. Sad it's over. Great fucking times.
Yeah. Have you gotten to sit down with Dune Prophecy yet?
No, but I'm not the Dune guy that you are. I'm a David Lynch Dune, and because I'm not an idiot, I also loved what Denis Villeneuve did with the Dune stuff. But it doesn't, like, when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to fall down this rabbit hole just yet. How was it?
I've seen the first episode. I think there are three out now. And
Is
it
it
is,
about the Bene Gesserit witches?
yeah, I mean, we talked to Kit, JC and I talked about it a little bit, that I was, as a prequel, it was a little too far removed from the thing that you actually want. They set it up, and it's in the first like 6 minutes of the show are both montage with tons of voiceover and then text on screen. So it's a lot of preamble to basically tell you this all takes place 10,000 years before Paul Atreides is born. I'm like, oh,
So that's the what's the House of Dragons approach to.
yeah. I mean, House of Dragon is like 100 years before the people were born. This is legit, more, a lot more.
So do they talk about one day there's gonna be a Kwisatz Sararak and shit like that?
They have not even broached the idea of.
Oh, really? I'm out. I haven't even sampled one episode and I'm out. If you're gonna tell me a story set 1,000 years before the story that I kind of care about, maybe you better drop those terms in the first 3 minutes. You better be like, hey, break out the box with the pokey, remember? Because we're Bene Gesserits and fucking this will tie into Dune and Paul Atreides somehow.
Bro, 10,000 years before fucking Paul Atreides.
Not even 1,000.
10,000 years. But
Dude, you know what happened 10,000 years here? The Dukes of Hazzard also happened 10,000 years before Dune. That's a prequel now, too. Might as well be. That's how fucking close the characters are. Fucking Paul Atreides is the precursor to Paul Atreides is Bo and Luke Duke.
I mean, 227 is my favorite prequel.
That's crazy. Is it good?
Uh, not listen, it might get great. I don't
Is
know.
it expensive?
Oh, it's super expensive. Like they spend all the money. But there is a scene I started to check out once you hit the scene where there's a recruit from a rich family who's about to join the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. So it's the night before she's about to like go to the convent. And so she goes out with her half brother for a night on the town, to the club. And so they're driving in their floating space car because it's still 10,000 years before fucking Paul Atreides, but they still have spaceships and spice mines and all of that stuff. So they're in their space car doing bumps of coke before they get to the hedonistic space bar. And I was like, what is happening here? What is happening? Why is this just like New York in the 90s, but in space with weird techno club music?
What? So in Dune, they don't just do the spice.
I
Like,
mean,
I remember in David Lynch's Dune, like at one point they fucking eat it.
yeah. I mean, the spice is just supposed to be like in the air, right? So like you can inhale it, sort of
Was it
contact.
really Coke, or were they inferring it was the spice?
It's not spice. It is just some recreational party drug. But the fact that they're literally 4,000 years, maybe from now, dumping a little cylinder out to the fucking in the back seat of an Uber. I was like, what are we doing here? Is this the show? I mean, okay, but what?
Like, I like Dune, but it was missing blow. Like, I think Denny did a good job, but if people have been doing more fucking party drugs, That would have been fucking, that's how you live through. You know how you survive giant worms fucking eating things? Coke.
Yeah. I miss the meatpacking district of New York circa 1993 is what this needed to be more of.
It's so weird to be like, hey, we're doing recreational drugs when it's like, what, but the, we've got 88 books about this fucking spice. You're going to create a new fucking thing?
I mean, hey, maybe it is spice. Maybe I didn't pay attention close enough because I was still bumped by them doing bumps of a drug in the backseat of a car.
That to me, it feels like they would be like, hey man, let's fucking have them doing the spice, right? Like if they're gonna have the spice, why not fucking do it, man? I mean, not that I'm sure the whenever I say shit like this, there's a moment where I'm like, okay, now somewhere the writer of Dune is like, yeah, let me reimagine Clerks, you fucking prick. How about you how about you stay off my Dune dick?
Stay off my shy halloon, motherfucker.
I didn't even see it, so I can't even fucking
Yeah, like listen, it might get great, but I think prequels have an incredibly high bar of why am I here to satisfy it. We will talk about a prequel that I think does deliver on its goods. I think we'll get there, but Wicked is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it delivers in a big bad way. Whereas thus far, Dune Prophecy feels a little bit. Did we make the right Dune show? Are there another 8 different versions of a Dune show that might have been a little bit more urgent? Maybe. I don't know.
Let me tell you, if they made if their Dune prequel don't fucking have a flat out, I have a vision of Paul Atreides and like fucking just give us a brief rundown of what you need something to rope people fucking in to tie them to
That's
the.
what House of the Dragon did. House of the Dragon was like, you know what? We feel like you're getting a little untethered from this. Somebody's going to have a vision of Daenerys Targaryen.
Is that
Like,
what they did in season
yeah,
2?
yeah. Spoilers. They give a character a vision, basically, of what Game of Thrones is.
And did they use footage of Game of Thrones?
They didn't, but it was very much just like somebody binged Game of Thrones in prophecy vision, and now knows what we all know is going to happen in 8 more seasons.
I mean, look, you have my interest. Suddenly I was like, what episode is this?
Who's doing this? What's happening?
No, because I know fucking Game of Thrones. And if the characters in Enter the Dragon know Game of Thrones, then I'm happy. For some reason. Now I got skin in the game. I don't know why.
I would like the Dune prequel to be about Game of Thrones somehow. It's like, wait.
Do we have another ad that we got to?
We totally can. We gotta hop into some Mando.
That's their next?
They are indeed.
I never know the order of things, man. Yeah, for sure they're next.
Yeah, for sure.
Mando, kids. You know fucking Mando. I had the products all over my shit. You know how good Mando is? My daughter's boyfriend took all my fucking, I used to have Mandos here to be like, look, here's the soap. Look, here's the deodorant. He came in the office. He was like, Mando, you fuck with this? And I was like, we do ads for him. Yeah, I fuck with. I got the bar soap in the fucking shower and shit. He took all my shit. Can't even hold it up, man. Just so you can follow along, my friends. I got a discount code for you. Get hooked up. My favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market, man. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use the code FATMAN at where? Shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support, man. Go to shopmando.com right now while we're talking about it. This shit smells good. I fucking soap up with this every morning. I'll tell you something. Recently, I went on the road to do some gigs and stuff. I was in Denver and Salt Lake City. So I was on the road for a week. Lovely places, but they had shower gels like in the showers and shit like that. And I'm a bar person, man. And I missed my Mando whole fucking week. All I could think about was the soap that I left behind, man. And that soap is Mando.
Yeah, my son came home from college for Thanksgiving, and he very quickly went into the bathroom and stole all of my Mando shit. I think it's a like 20 something person thing where they just come into your house and steal all of the good stuff,
Yeah.
including like the deodorant wipes, which was super nice because he's a college student. So sometimes, not to cast aspersions onto a particular age range, but sometimes they stink a bit more than us older people. And so I'm glad that he's packing some wipes with him to
Get
towel
the
up.
whole body odor anywhere, kids, with at shop.mando. Get $5 off your starter pack, man. That's over 40% off the promo code FATMAN at mandopodcast.com/fatman. That's if you're online in a different way, man. Did we do our video?
We have a video.
Oh no. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God, this show's classy, dude. Look at that video asset.
Oh,
Best looking thing in the show.
oh damn. It's in like a Mount Fuji kind of setting.
My
Just
God,
like fancy
I've been
set.
podcasting so long. I started in 2007, man. We did not have fucking cool ass looking ads like that. Like, who needs us to say shit? Look at that. That ad did way more than me ever talking about Mando does. I'm blown away by the quality of that ad.
Strong. Strong shit.
Kids, mando.com, man. They seem to like us. God bless them. They believe in Fat Man Beyond. So go over to shop Mando, SHOPMANDO.com, man. And you can get yourself that starter pack, man. What comes in the starter pack? It's perfect for new customers, man. Secure some last minute stocking stuffers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, the aforementioned deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Shopmando.com. We thank the good folks at Mando for being a sponsor of Fat Man Beyond. Fat Mando Beyond.
Oh, Mando.
And for that, we're going to charge an additional $60,000. Hey, BAMF Man's here, man. He's been quiet because there were technical difficulties right before we went. Tell him what happened.
Yeah, no. Well, when I start the stream, I have a new way of like we use Zoom, and I have a new way of getting Zoom into the broadcast software. And for whatever reason, when I mute the stream, it mutes the audio going back to you guys, so you guys couldn't hear me. But like, if you guys can hear me, the audience can hear me, but we were still like pre-stream, so that's what the issue was. I'll solve it for next week.
Fair enough.
Did you guys hear? You were just talking about Sopranos. Have you and how House of Dragon like had the vision to connect? Did you guys see this thing going around the internet that was the paradox of Gilmore Girls and the Sopranos?
No.
I'm just gonna read it. This was a guy named First as a Tragedy posted this. It said, in season 6, episode 4, an episode of The Sopranos, there's an episode of Gilmore Girls playing on the TV. In season 7, episode 17 of the Gilmore Girls, Richard is wearing a tracksuit, and Lorelai makes a joke about it by asking if he's having lunch with Tony Soprano. So obviously this means that both The Sopranos and Gilmore Girls exist as television shows in the other's respective universe. But more alarmingly, this means that each universe has now become a televised universe of itself within their own universes. So when the Gilmore Girls watch The Sopranos, they will see themselves in the show. Likewise, when Tony Soprano watches Gilmore Girls, he will witness a direct reference to himself. It's like the effect of two mirrors facing each other. The universes of Gilmore Girls and Sopranos are infinitely replicated all the way down. So does that make you want to watch Gilmore Girls now, since it's part of the Sopranos cinematic universe?
If what you're saying is true, I still don't give a shit. That is adorable though. But I mean, you know, that would be like we reference Star Wars in my movies, and you know,
But
my
if
characters don't know the Star Wars characters.
but if in Star Wars they were like stopped at a gas station and it said on the thing, it was like, if you plan to shoplift, please let us know. Then, and somebody's like, what's that from? And they were like, oh, we saw it in this movie one day.
I
Then,
mean, look, it's not that far removed, but in that fucking Star Wars movie that JJ made, the first one, you know, who was it? What's his
Finn.
name? Yes, was like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm a stormtrooper who works on toilet mains, and I was like, and then when Andor happened, and Tony Gilroy gave an interview, and he was just like, yeah, man, it's kind of like that conversation they had in Clerks, and I was like, what? It's fun to. I've been shouting out Star Wars for so many years. It was nice for Star Wars to shout back. But yes, you're absolutely fucking right, man. I'm all for a good fucking cross universe theory, and I would like to think that Rory Gilmore, is that her name?
I don't have any idea.
Lorelai Gilmore. I've never. I think that's their names are Lorelai.
Lorelai's the mom.
Rory.
Rory is the daughter.
I just said they had a set of Funko Pops. That's how popular the show. I mean, that, you know, I don't need to tell you how. Hey kids, hot take: this Gilmore Girls show ain't going anywhere. People seem to like it.
I am more excited about the Abbott Elementary "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" crossover,
Yeah.
Crossover, yeah, I saw that. That's kind of fun.
which I dig because we don't get that shit anymore. We just don't. There's so much weird corporate walls between stuff. I mean, granted, they're all owned by the same company, Disney, but even still, we just don't get the weird like Happy Days is crossing over into that, which is crossing over into that, and suddenly fucking George Jefferson shows up in Archie Bunker's house. Like that shit is cool. Don't get as much of that as we used to.
No way, man. Hey,
Did
kid.
you guys see I was watching shout out, you mentioned Austin. I was watching football on Thanksgiving, and next thing I know, Austin's on my TV selling financial advice or something. Did you see that? Isn't that Austin in that commercial?
I don't. I'm not familiar with this ball of the foot, but I know he was doing a commercial.
Yeah, it was like I was like, oh my gosh, I've worked on things with that kid. I know him. He said hi to me. He's on TV now.
That's the little boy from the 4:30 movie.
So that was cool.
I'm gonna hit him up for some fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you want to invest in film?
When EF Hunting talks, everyone listens.
Kids, this holiday hat that you see is a reminder that the holidays are coming, Christmas and whatnot. And you can, if you ever wanted to take a picture with Santa Bob, well, shit, BAMF Man's going to put up an image, and you're going to see this Thursday and Friday at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. It's Santa Bob. Here comes Santa Bob. He's coming to town, man. Laura, who did all the costumes on the 4:30 movie, built me a Santa Bob outfit, including, like, you know, from the hat. This ain't the hat, man. She built a custom one, backwards baseball cap and shit. So we got a big old chair. I'm gonna be sitting there between the two Jay and Silent Bob pops, holiday themed, sit on my lap and stuff. Don't get fresh. Nobody getting handsy, but we'll take photos, portrait, you know, fucking Sears, J.C. Penney's mall style. You and Santa Bob. You can get tickets right now at csmod.com.
If I get this picture, can I make a wish on Santa's lap?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Come on out. Sit on my lap. Wish all you want. Wish in one hand, shit in the other.
I wish Adrian Barbeau was here.
What a deep cuts pull that would be. I would have to be Santa Claus to pull that one off.
I dropped an EF Hutton before. Like, I'm going deep cuts all
You are. It's fucking, look at you, man. Fucking
that great coupon.
Next year going to be like referencing Glenn Scarpelli in One Day at a Time and shit.
Ooh.
Deep cuts. Deep cuts.
Pretty good.
Let me if you're like, oh, I'm on the fence. I don't know if I want to go all the way to New Jersey to take a fucking photo with you in a Santa hat. Well, let me sweeten the deal for you. On Thursday night, a few towns over at Smodcastle Cinemas, we're gonna do Watch with Kev, the Muppet movie. That's right, man. Muppet movie, fucking. I mean, although right now, fucking our movie theater don't need it because Lord knows Moana 2 and Wicked have
The
been
gifts.
killing at Smodcastle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands. But yes, you can come sit on Santa Bob's lap on Thursday. Come see the Muppet movie with me at Smodcastle on Thursday night. Then the next day, if you're like, I can't get there Thursday. What are you out of your fucking mind? We're doing it again on Friday. Friday, I'm at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash doing Santa Bob pictures. Tickets at csmod.com. But then at night, Mark, at Smodcastle Cinemas, there's a free Christmas movie.
Ooh, what is it?
Can't tell you, but it don't live easy.
I don't know what it is. I know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Live easy.
Sleep difficult.
It's a movie that a lot of people are like, that's a Christmas movie. Some people are like, no, it's not a fucking Christmas movie. We'll find out. After the movie, we'll sit around and talk about it. There's the ad that Nate put together.
Does it betray anything?
Yeah, it betrays a good fucking time at Smodcastle Cinemas for free. This is fucking free. We ain't even charging. You want to go see the Muppets? It's like $20. This fucking free. It's just a good time. It's our Christmas present to you at Smodcastle Cinemas. You go to smodcastleCinemas.com right now. You can sign up for free tickets. Now, if you're one of those people, it's like, I'll sign up for tickets even if I don't go. They'll be fine. Feel free because we're filling theaters regardless. But one of our theaters is already full and we've moved on to a second one. So it's going to be good times on Friday night, kids. Thursday and Friday, it's Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Come sit on Santa Bob's lap. Thursday and Friday night at Smodcastle Cinemas. Come see the Muppets with me on Thursday. Come watch a Christmas actioneer for free with me on Friday night and stuff. Then on Saturday, Mark, I'm rushing back to the West Coast because me and Ralph are doing our Christmas edition of Hollywood Babylon. That's right, kids. I'm coast to coast. You can ignore me in New Jersey or you can ignore me in Burbank. Tickets at csmod.com, and me and Ralph doing that holiday show and whatnot.
What day is
a week after that, I'm in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, at Helium Comedy Club, doing 2 nights of gigs, man. I just did 2 nights of gigs at Salt Lake City at Wise Guys. That was a fucking blast. Thank you to everyone who came out. And Denver, 2 nights of gigs, 4 gigs, man. That was awesome. So thank you all for coming to see me on the road and pretending that I am funny so that I feel good.
Excellent.
Then after that, after Christmas, Mark, I'll be in Phoenix. Hey, kids, you in Phoenix? Last chance to see me in 2024. I'll be at Phoenix at Stand Up Live. But if you're like, oh no, but what about 2025? Don't worry, kids, because in February we kick off Jay and Silent Bob, the Oral Sex Tour. Put up that artwork. BAMF Man, I'm sure I gave you that artwork as well.
BAMF. I don't have that one.
It's a thing. But you go to csmod.com, click on tickets. So you can come see me and Jay in February. Oral Sex Tour, it's spelled AURALSECTS. Thank you.
I would have it no other way.
Thank you. Dad jokes, because I am 54. All the edge of Clerks is gone. All that's left is the softness of yoga hosers.
I believe you left out one date, though.
What's that?
You left out Tuesday, December 17th.
I was leaving that to you, my friend. Yes. So if you're like, hey, man, I can't make any of those. I wish I could just, and you know what? Look at that. BAMF Man, well done. If you're like, I can't make any of those shows, why can't they just do the show that I'm watching? What about Fat Man Beyond? This used to be a fucking live show. Why don't they ever offer dates? Why can't I come see Fat Man at the... Well, stop your whining. Tell them, Mark.
We're back. We're doing it. We're doing it again. Back. Scum and Villainy Cantina. December 17th, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Fucking live Fat Man Beyond.
Fill that place, kids. Fill it.
Come on, guys.
We know and feel your love, and then start doing more and more of these live.
Indeed.
In 2025. That's our new fucking slogan. Live in 2025.
Hell yeah. Not stay alive in 2025, just live.
That too.
Hell yeah.
What we need to do is get fucking viewers in 2025. We haven't cracked 1,000 tonight. Maybe our time is over. What the fuck?
What, you think we're done?
Mm-hmm.
The people get what the people want.
That's true. A lot of that going around.
I hope you get everything you asked for.
Yeah, come fucking see us, kids, at Scum and Villainy Cantina. BAMF Man's going to be there. You can drink that blue milk, get fucked up. Let's get drunk together for the holidays.
Oh, yeah. Fucking eggnog. Is there going to be eggnog? Booze in it?
Is there eggnog from outer space or something?
Numnog? Num-num? Yub-dub-nog?
Yub-dub. Carl in chat says it's late on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's how time works.
All right. Enough of me selling things that I'm going to be at. That's if you're a fucking Kevin Smith fan and you're like, boy, oh boy, I'd love to see him live. But now we should talk about what people really want to talk about.
Indeed. Tushy.com.
Time for the third ad of the show. People are like, where the fuck is the news? Let's is it, do we have to this soon?
Now let's talk about a thing first.
All right. I saw Heretic.
Ooh, tell me about Heretic.
Hugh Grant is amazing. Kids are amazing too. I like the first half better than the second half, but like, fuck, is it compelling? And they were able to make a very scary movie for the first half, at the very least, of just three people talking in a room. I was impressed as fuck, man. But it was definitely a good watch. I continue to enjoy the fuck out of Lioness. Now we're in season 2. Excellent.
I gotta check it out.
Excellent show. Zoe Saldana's great. This year they added Genesis Rodriguez, my friend. She's great, but the show is fantastic. That was my first introduction to other than Sicario, to the work of Taylor Sheridan. I was not a Yosemite person, but I love fucking Lioness, and so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try fucking Tulsa King. You seen Tulsa King?
No, I have not seen Tulsa King.
Unbelievably enjoyable. Like, it just has a fucking My Cousin Vinny, just enough a soupçon of My Cousin Vinny to it. Just an enjoyable concept, fish out of water, and really plays to his strengths. And it's fucking fun watch of a show, man. And like, he's well served by it. I'm not familiar with Yellowstone, but it seems like this guy has got a formula where he's like, let me get somebody who's a massive movie star and build a fucking show around them and stuff. And I bet you people will show up, and they fucking do. I also watched the first episode of Landman. His new show, Landman. I didn't like it as much as I liked the other two, but that's okay. I'll keep going.
He apparently will keep giving you television no matter whether you watch it or not. But lots of people are watching it.
That guy owns Paramount Plus, man. Like every show is his.
Yeah.
Crazy. And every time I watch one of his, I'm like deeply impressed. Like, man, this guy knows what he's doing and shit. And I always remember, like, that's Danny Boyd from Veronica Mars. Like, seriously, he was a fun side character in Veronica Mars. Now he's like fucking Shonda Rhimes huge, which just goes to show you, kids, you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, just keep fucking trying. And it's not even like, oh, he's trying for a long fucking time. He was a background actor and then started blank. I can write too. Fucking Sicario is an amazing screenplay.
No, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, this guy, and like, I'm telling people, I was like, have you heard about this Taylor Sheridan? They're like, fucking,
The guy
hey,
who's on
tell us about it. Why don't you tell us about another Taylor nobody's heard of, like Taylor Swift, you fucking out of touch piece of shit. March 30 years ago, grow up. Other things have happened in pop culture besides you. Good point.
Yeah, I also remain in awe of Taylor Sheridan's financial acumen, where he bought himself that like 4 Sixes ranch and then set Yellowstone at that ranch. So now the studio has to pay him to shoot at his ranch, which he owns.
That is incredibly smart.
That's and like, hey, all of my shows have like horses in them, right? Guess who's got horses?
I bought a movie theater, and it hasn't worked out the same for me.
You have to keep making things at the movie.
Is that what it is? Not just one and done. I figure I did one, and now I should be done. No, fuck. You know what I've noticed, honestly, and I'm not. This ain't just me trying to put a brave spin on it and shit, but like, I am. The universe is trying to teach me a lesson, and the lesson is to check my privilege. And honestly, I never thought of myself as a person of privilege, but me not getting into Sundance with 4:30 movie, like, is not the end of the world by a stretch of the imagination. Sundance started my career, so and I've been to Sundance many times. But like, when I didn't get in last year, I was real like, oh my God, but like fucking I made Clerks and like I'm a legacy there and shit. Like, that's fucking privilege talk, dude. Like, when you're like, I'm a legacy, I sound like fucking Flounder in Animal House. And that was not a proud moment for Flounder in Animal saying that, like, they gotta take me. I'm a legacy. Like, so I've been able to kind of process it. And now I'm like, you know what? Like, that just should remind you, and it does on a regular basis, that it don't matter what I've done. And I've been doing shit for 30 years, and I got a pretty good track record and a long tail. It all comes down to the Janet Jackson of it all. What have you done for me lately? So
it's a rhythm nation.
It really is, man. And I want to be a part of it.
Comes down to control.
Oh, shit. Keep singing. Fuck. Well, you know what? Let's wait a while. Thank you. Deep cuts. Deep cuts.
Nice. Pleasure principle, baby.
No, my first name ain't baby. It's Janet. Miss Jackson.
Jackson is nasty.
And that's why less than 1,000 people are watching two old men talk about fucking old music.
Speaking of old music, did you see HBO has this documentary about yacht rock?
Not only did I see it, I made an appointment to watch it.
As did I.
I thought it looked fantastic. I was like, wait, Christopher Cross is in this?
Michael McDonald, Sweet Freedom himself.
Dude, I like the idea that fucking, look, I have to. I'm a fucking old man, but like, I like the idea of fucking late in life, second and third acts. Like, that gives me hope. I hope there's a yacht rock version of indie film where some people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I remember this jam. Like, that would help.
Yeah. It's like my dad used to watch this movie when we were in the car.
Yes. I'll take some of that fucking yacht rock money. But yeah, that fucking, that's a doc I'm gonna watch. I'll tell you that right now. My wife is always watching true crime docs, and she's like, "Oh, let's watch this." And there are all these horrible fucking shows about terrible things that happen to people. And I'm like, "Why do you watch this, man?" And you watch. I'm gonna be like, "You want to watch the yacht rock doc?" She can be like, "God, no." And I'm be like, "That's hopeful.
It's hopeful and it's nostalgic because
the only things getting killed in the yacht rock doc you're fucking prejudiced against yacht rock. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and some crimes against fashion for sure, but mostly
They
just
what? They're dressed because the old way, or they're dressed the new way.
the old way. I mean, but nobody was on the cutting edge of much.
Christopher Cross, nobody was going like, "What a snappy dresser." They were like some strong pipes, good lyricist. Fucking, you know what? He knew the secret of life. Sailing takes me away.
It's like, did I buy a hot tub from that guy, or is he a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter? Yeah, bad music. It is not bad music, sir. Whoever said that in the chat. I'm reading the fucking chat, Stanley. It's not bad music.
Big J21 puts it on Front Street, says, "Will y'all review Skeleton Crew or what?"
JC, would you like to enter the chat?
I look forward to watching it. Dave Klein shot it, man.
Did he?
Nice.
Yeah, fucking Clerk's own Dave Klein was the Skeleton Crew DP. I think he shot the whole fucking thing. I remember he was telling me about it like 2 years ago, back before we made the 430 movie. He was talking about the new Star Wars show, and he couldn't, obviously he's like, I can't talk about it and shit. They all treat those fucking, NDAs so fucking seriously. I mean, this is a guy that I fucking came up with. We made Clerks together, and he was like, I can't talk about it. So I didn't dig or anything, but he said that it was like he was working with John Watts. And he did say the title was Skeleton Crew. And he said, like, it's kind of been like a new take on Star Wars because it's like kids.
It's, first off, John Watts, I believe, left the Spider-Man trilogy and Fantastic Four to do Skeleton Crew. Like, can you imagine bailing on Fantastic Four to do this other thing?
I could not personally, but in his case, after you've done 3 Spider-Mans, I'm sure there's a party that's just like, hey, let me try something else.
It's I watched you I was in your office, I think sitting right where you are now, and you were like, have you seen the Skeleton Crew trailer? I was like, no, I'm over it. You're like, you've got to watch it.
Wonderful.
The show's better than the trailer. It's really good. It's really good. It is, they do some really fun, like, even in Star Wars, there's like those expositional scenes where it's like, Vader and the Imperial guy walking through the thing, and it's just like exposition. They do a lot of really fun show don't tell with this, kind of like to get you into like the background of where it takes place and how it happens. I'm going to try not to spoil it for everybody. There's some really like deep cut references. Like there's an American Graffiti reference that's like super, super subtle in there. And it kind of reminded me of like the first half of Super 8, where you're like, this is going to be great.
That's what, I mean, everyone kept saying when they watched the trailer. It was like, Goonies, but I always got like a Super 8 vibe of it.
It's the thing that I love about it also, and I'm going to try to do this without shitting on other Star Wars too much, but the thing Mark always complains about with new Star Wars is like, well, to watch Ahsoka, I had to watch the Clone Wars, and I had to watch Star Wars Rebels, and I had to read this comic book, and I had to do all this shit, and by the time I got to Ahsoka, I don't care. If you know what a Jedi is, if you have heard that word before, you have some concept, you can watch Skeleton Crew. You need to know nothing else to get into the show. It is a completely lives on its own island, but really hits the spirit of what I think Star Wars is. And I think a lot of the new Star Wars like references back to Star Wars, but like, and people are like, oh, it's Goonies in space. Well, like Goonies happened 40 years ago or 38 years ago that came out. Like, it is not culturally like mainstream anymore. To give you an idea, like that would have been like a movie that came out in 1937 that George Lucas was referencing, say like Buck Rogers, right? So Star Wars now referencing Goonies is similar to like what George did in 77, referencing Buck Rogers and those types of movies. It's so good. It's everything you want it to be.
Amazing.
It's so good.
I was sold by the trailer, but now you've reminded me that it's on. I'm actually going to go dive in.
It's great. It's so good. All the kid actors are great. The little threads that they tie into, how they tie it into like bigger Star Wars is fantastic. Without like opening the box to the rest of it. And what I love is the nostalgia of Skeleton Crew is through like visual language. It's not just like, remember Obi-Wan Kenobi? Remember training remotes?
I've seen
Remember 12 parsecs?
Few people in chat keep referencing Sophie Thatcher. Is she in it?
I don't even know.
Are they talking about her in Heretic? Because she was in Heretic, and she was in a Star Wars thing, right? She was in Mandalorian, the episode with the kids on bikes that nobody liked. Am I thinking the same Sophie Thatcher?
Margaret's granddaughter?
Iron Lady herself? Jack says yes. So wait, Sophie Thatcher is in Skeleton Crew? She got a second Star Wars job?
I don't know that.
Jinx in chat says, I don't trust anyone who talks, who up talks to try and sell me Star Wars product.
Give me the knife.
Was I trying to sell Star Wars product? Were they?
That's your fault.
Anyway, it's great. Watch it. It is like as good as Andor is for like adult Star Wars. I feel like this is like for 11-year-olds.
Why would a fucking child care about Star Wars? No, I'm kidding. This is important that they make something like this that maybe a kid could fucking jump in on that wasn't born in the 70s.
Well, it's what it, I mean, it's a, you know.
All right, we got an answer. Gay Lord of the Rings said Sophie Thatcher is not in Skeleton.
Okay.
What it does so well though is, you know, Luke Skywalker wanted to escape and see a bigger world, and this is the same thing, except it's more like the three of us trying to escape boring suburbia to see a bigger world.
Right.
So it lands. It works. I think it does a better job of almost like rebooting that Star Wars quest than, you know, everything that's come after 1983.
Our friend Josh Mundhall in chat says it's Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor for a new generation. I don't know if that's meant to be complimentary or a dig.
But better. I mean, like, better acting, better everything. A better story, better everything. Although there is a Ewoks the Battle for Endor wink in the show.
Is that right?
Yeah. Episode 2 has a little Ewoks the Battle for Endor wink.
Brandon H says it's just a fantastic story. Let's get real.
Yeah, it's good.
But I'm in. I'm gonna watch it, man. All right.
Cool.
How about Wicked?
Wicked.
I want to talk about Wicked. I have not seen the feature film, kids. I did see the show on Broadway a few times. I also saw it out here in Los Angeles once or twice. But I can't wait to talk about the movie because Mark, who y'all dig on him for hating things and fucking, you know, saying it ain't good enough or whatever the fuck. Mark, like, blew Wicked online. Like, and gave it an emotional fucking review on Instagram and stuff. Where I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to fucking hear."
Like take
the floor, fucking Elphaba. What happened?
Well, let me tell you how I feel.
So she has no name in the movie, right? The Wicked Witch of the West.
No, it is just the Wicked Witch. I mean, Galinda has a name as the, fucking day star of the East or whatever.
You know where they pulled Alphaba from?
I don't know.
L. Frank Baum.
Nice.
And that's a hell of a shout out.
It's a deep cut. I
And
love
it's
it.
a great fucking name. But this show has been a phenomenon for 20 fucking years. That's how old this fucking show is, man. But feels like it just came out 2 minutes ago. So naturally, they hit the ground running with a built-in kind of audience, but it has shocked and surprised and written there are many articles about how fucking, oh my God, it's the highest grossing Broadway musical since we started keeping records, and more of this and less of everything else. And we're only halfway through the fucking thing and shit. So it's a phenomenon. And,
Mhm.
generally, Mark has notes, but it sounds like you had no notes.
I don't have many notes at all.
You're
Notes at
you
all.
are one of those little girls that I sat next to when I saw Wicked on Broadway. I didn't go like when it first happened. I went like a couple years into its run, by
Mhm.
which point it had already become a thing, and there were already legions of kids, not to profile, but mostly girls,
Yeah.
sitting in the audience, fucking like cheering it on and stuff. I love the show. It's heartbreaking. It makes me cry. It's wonderful. It makes your heart sore. It's clever as fuck. If you're a writer, you're like, nice.
Yeah. Well
Um,
done.
but it sounds like you took an emotional journey with it.
I mean, I am not a musical theater person.
You're not.
I am not at all. Like I've seen a decent amount. Growing up in New York, it's what culture is, so you're exposed to some of it as it goes. But I don't generally swing with movie musicals because on stage you buy people breaking into song easier than you do in movies, I think. But there's a handful that I like and I get down with. But there's just something about the way this story unfolds. There's something about um, I mean, these performers are fucking phenomenal. I mean, Cynthia Erivo seems built in a lab to both sing and dance and has giant eyes that make people cry. Um, Ariana Grande is kind of perfect as the somewhat vapid Galinda, who
She's
eventually,
always been funny on SNL. I always
yeah,
give
she's
fucking
got a sense
props
of
to
humor.
anybody who's funny on SNL and stuff. So when they were like, I've seen a lot of people going like, she's really, who knew she was this funny? And I was like, I don't know anybody that ever watched her on SNL.
Yeah, like 4 times she's been on SNL. She can do that work. But I just think that that story of the misunderstood outcast who just tries her fucking best to be of service, who finally gets seen by the world at large for something she doesn't want. She doesn't want to be magic. She doesn't want, like, it's been nothing but a curse to her, but she's gifted with a thing that most people don't have. And there's the story of friendship, the story of discovery, the story of heartbreak, the story of jealousy. Like all of those things are all kind of wound up in what is functionally a prequel to the Wizard of Oz, which
Yeah.
is, who is the Wicked Witch? Who was Galinda? Who are these characters that you just sort of meet in passing, especially Glinda? You just meet her for a second, and then it's like, oh, well, I don't, huh? What? The Wicked Witch is dead? Oh, great, awesome. Who was that? Like all of the deepening of that relationship. It is the most Professor X Magneto, but with songs of sort of these two people who have a gift, one of which is way more powerful than the other, but they loved each other until they didn't. And the reasons why they don't are deeply emotional and just deeply personal. I don't know where part two goes. I never read the book. It ends, I believe, about where the musical ends.
No,
No, the
no.
musical goes further. I don't remember the musical.
The musical act one of the musical ends with defying gravity, the same way
Huh?
the movie does.
And I
It's a
stand
whole other fucking story,
easily
man.
corrected.
Yeah, they got a lot more story to go. I don't know if they'll be able to wring 2 hours and 45 minutes out of the second half, because traditionally in Broadway shows, the first half is longer than the second half.
Right.
But yeah, this is they're in a world where they decided to make Wicked two movies. They couldn't have picked a better place to fucking split it. That's where they split it on Broadway. I've a friend of mine who saw it, who like loves the show and stuff, said that like it didn't need to be 2:45. It's like you probably could have fucking gotten down to like 215 or two with it and stuff. But it's like it didn't hurt it by any stretch of the imagination. But they I think they were probably concerned that they're splitting it in two. And I think they beefed up the first one probably even more than they needed to be honest with you.
It's a fast 240. Like it doesn't feel like you've been sitting in the theater for that long. Um, but yeah, I mean, and I feel like the stuff you could have cut is a lot of the Fierro stuff. Like he's fun and the songs are great, but it's almost a movie that doesn't want to have to be about a boy in any way. Like you could just make it about these two women who are friends and then aren't,
Yeah.
as opposed to here's a boy that we now have to fight over. But
Do
yeah,
you remember what happens to him?
no, again, like I saw the play 18 years ago, maybe. I have no specificity of it. I remember Defying Gravity and I remember Popular, but I don't remember anything else. Bad things happen to him, I'm assuming.
No, no,
No,
no. He plays a big part, like going forward.
fair enough.
Um, yeah, I fucking love that show. First time I saw it, I remember like I paid for everyone in the office in Jersey in the comic book store to go see it because I was like, you have to fucking see this. Like it's a fucking prequel to Wizard of Oz. It's nuts. And and we live in an Easter egg culture where people are like, it ties into another thing. But this did it just enough. I mean, the whole fucking thing ties into the other one, but like there are direct references to Dorothy. Did they were there Dorothy moments still in the movie?
um, yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah.
A couple of them. There's a big one in the beginning, but it then sort of backs off of that for a bit.
Mm.
Um,
There's
but
more.
yeah, and there's also it 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 seems to have arrived at a time when the message of um a somewhat figureheady autocratic government is aiming to remove the different and the weird and the odd personified in this movie by talking animals, um and then decide that they need a villain to blame for it, and so they choose one of these women and gaslight them into believing that they should want this. You know, it's not to say that it's overtly political, except all art to a certain degree is political, and they do not shy in any way away from that. It's not just about what it seems to be about. Um, sometimes art hits you in exactly the right way at exactly the right time. And this was one of those for me. It's not flawless, but it is deeply emotional, and I
The
respond.
director is who?
John M. Chu,
Who
who
directed Crazy Rich Asians? Is that?
Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights.
Oh, no, oh, so he's done musical.
He's done
Oh, and
musicals.
I think he did a fucking Gem. It's truly outrageous.
Gem and the Holograms.
He did the live action Gem movie.
Yeah,
If
I
I
think he
remember.
started with like a Step Up. I think might have been one of his first movies. One of them Step Up to the Streets or
Is that
whatever.
right?
Yeah, but
Uh, this movie's doing insanely well.
yeah, I think it's something like 400 million worldwide already in like the first 10 days of release. It's a monster.
John Elrod, the second in chat, seems to agree with you. That dance scene hits so fucking hard, presented
It's
so
just
well.
so gorgeous, and it's all character, and it's all again. I remember I did a thread on it on Blue Sky about how it's a scene I've seen like 8 or 9 times already. Here we are at a high school dance where the misfit comes into the dance and does a weird thing that makes them look like weird and bizarre and ridiculous. And then other people begin to follow the dance and changes the narrative of that thing. Like Teen Wolf does it. Um, Can't Buy Me Love does it. Encino Man does it. A Knight's Tale. Yeah.
this. Yes.
You know, like, but finding an old scene, an old sort of trope of a scene, and then infusing it with new emotion and sort of a new ground to it. It's I think it benefits for it being like a familiar trope of a scene. But no, it's fantastic.
I
It'll
think
be on my top 10 list for sure.
we are, I believe that it's been doing very well at Smart Castle Cinemas. I think we're looking into the sing along version now,
Mm-hmm.
which seems to be popular in some places.
I was glad that nobody started singing in my theater. Um, I would have had to have been that guy to be like, you know what? I paid to listen to that lady sing, not you.
What if they were little kids? Would you have fucking shit on them then?
I would have looked hard at their parents though.
Stop them from dreaming. Like, we're sorry.
I don't care if they got a song in their heart. Keep it in.
um, yeah, go see Wicked, kids. I ain't seen it, but I'm gonna see it soon. You know where I'm gonna see it?
Tell me.
Fucking free at Smart Castle Cinemas.
I will not contribute to your success, Universal.
No, they believe me, they get my money. Over 50%. That's how that box office stuff works.
Indeed. Sell that popcorn, man.
Yeah, that's the only way. It is it's a good time to be a film exhibitor. And for the first time in a few months, they're not writing about the death of the box office. If anything, it's quite the opposite. They're like, hey, this is how you do it. And some people are like, yeah, no comic book movies. But meanwhile, it's like, yeah, we just had one and it made a fucking $1 billion. So clearly it's not no comic book movies. Just give people big ass fucking movies, man.
Yeah. I mean, it is IP. It is sequels. Between Moana 2, which I haven't seen yet, Gladiator 2, which I did see, um, and fucking Wicked. Like it's all stuff based on stuff. And it's not the worst thing in the world for theaters. Because this, I think, was the biggest Thanksgiving, if not in history,
I
then
think it was in history, actually.
yeah, it's massive.
Um, yeah, it's good time. Good time for at the box office, kids. And it's just a couple movies that demand to be seen on the big screen. Between that, Gladiator 2, and
Mhm.
apparently Moana 2 as well. Moana 2, man, just started life as a Disney Plus fucking sequel until I guess it was Eisner was like, oh no, this is going in theaters.
It was Bob Iger. Yeah, Iger was like, "Wait, you're gonna give this away as a TV show for free? Nuh-uh."
Now they're gonna add like fucking another $1 billion to their coffers before the end of the year.
Yep.
Disney had a very good year. I remember reading a lot of articles about how Disney was fucked, and I'm like, if by fucked you mean fucking rich, then yes.
By fucked you mean coming all over the place? Then yeah, they're fucked.
Hmm.
But yeah, and their streamers beginning to merge into profit. I think there was some forecasting something like $300 million in profit as opposed to the last 4 or 5 years of being $1 billion losses every year.
Wow.
And so yeah, Disney's fine, y'all. It's okay. All right, should we do our last ad before we hit the news?
Yeah, although what did I also see? I watched some Oscar stuff because the screeners are happening. We Live in Time.
Oh, how is it?
Beautiful.
Yeah,
But bring a box of tissues. It's a real weeper.
it's
Uh,
Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, right?
yeah. And a story told out of sequence, and those kids are both like wonderful actors and charming as fuck. Um, Nothing like Strange Darling, which is also a movie told out of sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But both two movies that I absolutely love this year that don't tell traditional stories. Or
Hmm.
if they do, they tell them out of sequence and it makes it untraditional. Definitely worth watching. Um, yeah, those kids were wonderful in it. Beautiful, beautiful performances, beautiful story. What else did I see? I saw Night Bitch with Amy. What's
Amy
what was
Adams.
Amy Adams. Well made. And she's always delightful. I think that's all I've seen. I feel like I've watched so much more. If it occurs to me, I'll let you know. But Mark's right. We've got one more ad, kids.
I'm going to tell you one more thing.
Saved the end for the end. And when I say the end, I can only be talking about one thing, kids. Tushy! Just used it before the show. Got a wet, clean ass. Well, it ain't wet anymore. But Tushy made it all clean, man. Give the gift of practical luxury this holiday season that benefits everyone in your household. That's the genius of this. You can give it to one person and you get the use out of it as well. Go to Hello Tushy, HELLOTUSHY.com. Use the promo code FATMAN, all one word, and grab your deal right now before it's gone, man. Don't forget to give us a shout out while you're there. Let them know who sent you, man. Go to hellotushy.com/fatman for the best gift this holiday season. My friends, toilet paper is a brilliant invention, but it has been replaced. Tushy gets your fingers out of your asshole. It's that simple. No, you don't even have to get close. Now you just sit there, man. Same way you sit there and shit. Now you just sit there and let Tushy do all the wiping, all the cleaning. And it feels good. It feels good. That's the thing they don't tell you. They're always talking about how good it is and whatnot. And it is, but they don't say it feels good.
Tushy, tushy, tushy. At it again.
How often do you ever have anything other than toilet paper blowing around your ring piece, man? Like little water fountain on your ring piece, like a bidet. It's lovely.
Car wash for your caboose.
Feels good. That's Tony said. Go get yourself a Tushy, kids. And I'm telling you, with the holiday season upon us, you're going to seem like a very, astute and generous gift giver if you get it for a house for somebody else that you live in, because then you're going to get to fucking Tushy it up as well. It's a gift that you can give and receive at the same time. That's the miracle of Christmas right there, kids.
Giving and receiving.
That's right. Go to hellotushy.com. Go hellotushy.com, fat man, and grab your deal before it's done. What kind of deal are we talking about? Well, Tushy is the bidet is dropping deep discounts on bidet life essentials that'll transform your bathroom habits and your butt for life. Now it's time to back away from boring gifts and dirty habits to save on a luxury lifestyle upgrade that you'll use every day. You do use this fucking Tushy every day, no doubt. Sometimes I find myself using it even when I don't go to the bathroom. I got like a half hour to kill. I'm in there just Tushying it up. That's how I roll, like this. Makes it hard to read my phone. If you've been waiting to upgrade your bathroom or grab the perfect gift for anyone on your list, now's the time. Are you sitting there going, I don't know what to get this person? Tushy.
Yes.
And it looks pricey. Visit hellotushy.com to see this week's savings on bidets, bundles, and instant bathroom upgrades. The Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing or electricity. If I can set it up, anybody can set it up, kids.
Yes. So give the gift of practical luxury that benefits everyone in your household. So go to hellotushy.com/fatman now to grab your deal before it's gone. Don't forget to give us a shout while you're there and let them know who sent you. We sent you. So go to hellotushy.com/fatman for the best holiday gift this season.
We thank the good folks at Tushy for believing in Fat Man Beyond, man.
Indeed.
Thank you, Tushy, for that and so much more. In chat, Brandon H says, bro, Nosferatu. That's another one I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
But he said movies are so fucking expensive now, though. Not at Smodcastle Cinemas, my friends, where you could see me on Thursday night or Friday night showing the Muppet movie on Thursday night. showing a free Christmas movie actioner on Friday night. And this is all after I have been sitting there as Santa Bob at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash all of Thursday and all of Friday. Come take pictures. Sit on my lap. Do you ever want to sit on my lap? Now's your chance. I'm going to be wearing a funny outfit when I do it.
Outstanding.
Christmas is here, kids. Give the gift of Kevin Smith. That's what we say in this house. I tried to give the gift of Kevin Smith to my wife. She tried to send it back. So there you go. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Hey.
Poisonous Plants 15 says, Kev, Nosferatu was amazing. I got invited to the premiere. Unfortunately, I'm going to be back east. Where? Well, I'm going to be on my way, I think, to, it's the day after my mom's birthday. So I'm probably be in Florida. So I'm going to miss it. I want to see it. Lily Rose, man.
Yeah. Man.
So yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about Nosferatu.
Outstanding. All right, should we hit some newsy news?
Yeah, let's I think we're ready for news. Let's ask the kids in chat. We miss anything that you want to fucking talk about that we didn't hit? Oh, Poisonous Plants 15 says Conclave was decent. You mentioned seeing Conclave.
I did. I dug it. If what you're looking for is like Mean Girls, but the girls are all cardinals, it is a bitchy movie about a bunch of guys who were just like, you ought to be the Pope. I don't want to be the Pope. You be the Pope. I desperately want to be the Pope.
If I'm whoever released Conclave, I'm totally putting that on a poster. It's like Mean Girls with popes. Marc Bernardin. Fat man.
Popes is bitchy.
Is worth watching.
It's worth watching. I mean, it's Ray Fiennes. Every performer in it is great. You know, it is just what they used to make a lot of, which is just kind of old school movies for adults. But it also takes you into a world in which I have only vaguely heard about, which is how one chooses a pope, which I don't know that process.
It involves smoke coming
That's
out.
all I know. Like which, okay. I didn't know that there's a voting process. I didn't know there was campaigning internally among the Cardinals. You know, I didn't know. And so bringing me into a world I don't have any access to, and you tell me an interesting story about it, good time at the movies. Well,
it's not a murder mystery or anything. It's just who's going to be Pope.
Yeah, like they did. I mean, spoiler alert, except that you know what it is because the premise of the movie, the sitting Pope passes away. And it's not
happened.
That
happens a lot, Mark.
It happens apparently like
happened literally to every Pope except for one who retired early.
Yes, I don't want to be Pope anymore.
Yeah. Could you imagine? One day it was just like, fuck this nonsense.
Yeah, it blows. I don't want that little house. I don't like the big hat.
I love Jesus, but I really hate paperwork. So I don't want to be Pope no more.
So much clerical work. They don't tell you that when you sign up to be Pope.
You want to be Pope? There's a lot of this.
Yeah.
A lot of filing of reports and stuff. All the boring clerical stuff nobody ever wants to do. And you're not filing reports like cast out a fucking demon from a child today. You're writing reports like yet another hoax. There was no demon in any child.
Yeah.
You know how like the military people like write about they're no longer UFOs. What are they called now? UAPs or something like that.
Yeah, United Unidentified Phenomena.
And they really like, on one handle, they're like, these things are not from planet Earth. And you're like, yeah. And they're like, but they're not aliens either. Like, but wait, then what? Yeah. Did they come from in the Earth? Holy shit. Are they from the sea? Have the sharks learned fucking command technology? Because if so, we are fucked.
The sharks get opposable thumbs?
Remember, I mean, not to be a bitch or anything like that, but like, remember we were promised space sharks in fucking Thor Love and Thunder? Whatever happened to that?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know it's a few years later, but I just remembered that I was promised some fucking space sharks.
Bring me space sharks, dude.
All right.
Yes.
So let's see. Anybody in chat? They're saying, have we talked about Honora? I have not seen it yet, but I hear great things.
Me neither. I have the screener for it, but I haven't flipped it.
You got a screener? They didn't put it up on the Academy site yet. Oh no, it is actually. Let's see.
Yeah. I told you I
No,
saw Gladiator 2. Which if you've seen Gladiator, then you've seen Gladiator 2.
I didn't see Gladiator 2. I saw the movie that has Nicholas Holt in it. Juror
Juror
number
2. I hear it's good.
very good. Like it's, in a better world, people would be like, "Hey, Clint Eastwood's latest movie is out." Warner Brothers seems to be like, "Clint Eastwood's movie's out."
Yeah, we don't care that much. You know what?
And you guys want to see a Clint Eastwood movie? If not, don't worry about it. Like they're not
No,
fun. They should, because it's total fucking like enjoyable adult programmer. Like this is a movie that, fucking 20 years ago would have easily made minimum 80, if not 100.
Mm.
Total fucking like, programmer, but like strong. Like, the assured direction of a guy who's been directing for 50 plus years and stuff.
Yeah.
But totally worth a watch. And Nicholas Holt, man, like this is our Lex Luthor.
I know. I mean, it feels like one of those movies you could have made for like $25 million, which I'm sure they did. Put it out in like February, and it would like make 50. Like adults would go, the elderly would go. Like, we like that young Clint Eastwood. Let's go see his new picture.
That's us now. We're the adult and the elderly.
Oh, dude. Yeah, double ARP shit starting to show up at the house, and I don't like it. I haven't signed up that fast.
Arcane, you
I saw
watched
one, haven't seen season 2 yet.
that came back.
And it did. I've never seen any of Superman and Lois, so though I give a hail and hearty round of applause to the end of the Arrowverse, which Superman and Lois was the tail end of. Congratulations.
Superman and Lois is over. I watched the spoilers, the Superman and Lex Luthor fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at first I thought they gave Luthor the fucking Luthor suit, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" But I believe he stole Steel's suit
Oh.
and modified it to fight Superman. I don't want to give the wrong information, but the guy who played Lex Luthor, Michael Cudlitz,
Yeah.
I thought did a great fucking job and found a way into that character, and for the writers, of course, as well. Found a way into Luthor that I hadn't seen before. That's a tough fucking character to create new ground for, and their take on Luthor was pretty good. I liked it.
One of these days I'll check.
Yeah, you just watch those scenes, man. Like fucking enter Cudlitz Luthor, and you could just like on YouTube watch like killer fucking scenes where he's just real shitty to Lois and Clark. Like
Nice.
just mean.
Just not a nice man.
Fucking bad guy. But it's not like, him wearing suits and shit like that. Like,
It went the other way.
yeah. And he was in jail. He went prison. Like it was pretty good.
Came out hard.
He really did a great job. All right.
All right. We got three
Let's do some,
quick news items.
yeah. Oh, wait. Did you see Ocean Explorer Spirit said, y'all see the Craven the Hunter trailer, aka 8-minute opening this morning? This morning, Sony, is it Sony doing this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony Spider-Man universe. They put up the first 8 minutes of Craven that you could watch online on Twitter, on fucking YouTube and stuff like that. I thought it was well made. J.C. Chandor, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
He knows his way around a fucking film set and shit. He's no slouch as a director by any stretch of the imagination. So I thought I was like, right on. I'm in. I'll see it.
I mean, I was always kind of in, but then again, I also saw Morbius and Madam Web in theaters.
You're the one. Now you gotta help him bring it home.
I gotta go. So my bar is not particularly high for the Spider-Man spin-off villain parade from Sony. So I'm gonna be there.
All right. Where were we?
Newsy news.
Business Plants 15 said, I saw the new Toxic Avenger at Fantastic Fest. It's crazy good. Wow. I haven't heard anything about it yet.
Elijah Wood, I think, right?
Lord Darth Torres said, Masters of the Universe casting announcement and Voltron. Yes, Masters of the Universe announced that fucking Idris Elba is going to be Man at Arms.
Well, I mean, I always wrote Duncan as a black dude anyway, so that makes sense.
And then there was the other one. What was it? Voltron. Henry
Sterling K.
Cavill.
Brown.
Voltron.
Sterling K. Brown, Henry Cavill.
Sterling K. Brown too is in Voltron.
Yeah. Let me guess. Is he the Black Lion?
Yeah, that's Kevin James and Brian Wayne in chat says Kevin James needs to stop reading chats so Mark can get to the news. Fair enough.
So yes, I mean, fucking Idris Elba in Master Universe is, I mean, man, good for him. Get that money. I don't know what the script is. I mean, I know generally what Master of the Universe is about, but fucking, he's a big ass movie star and a fantastic actor. And when you put him in shit, that shit tends to get better.
He has the gravitas for that role too, and a lot of people, I'm sure, be like gravitas for Man at Arms, but it's like that's your grown-up character. Like you get to do a lot with Man at Arms, as we saw the Mark's own pen.
Indeed, it was a lot of fun to do. And so again, Sterling K. Brown, like I'm not saying that it seems like these filmmakers are a little ashamed of the movies that they're making, so they're stocking it filled with great actors, but it's only better for an audience if suddenly people like fucking Henry Cavill and Sterling K. Brown are in a fucking Voltron movie. That's bananas, but give it to me. Here for it.
Give it to me.
Give me that stuff, that sweet, that funky stuff. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give me that stuff, that sweet fucking. Oh!
I was there. Don't stop. You were yacht rocking me.
I was rocking this fucking yacht.
Digital Vortex in chat says Joker 3 definitely happening.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, shows you what I know. My tastes are fucking. I don't know shit. Dog is snoring. If I was running the studio, and I would have approved all of that. I would have been like, Joker 2 approved. What's the budget? Approved. Lady Gaga approved. Like Todd Phillips again and fucking Joaquin approved. Like it's still crazy that we live in a world where that movie died.
Yeah.
That's madness to me. It shows you nobody knows nothing, man.
They haven't ever.
No.
Haven't ever. Last piece of news is
Jinx
that
pointed out that Give It To Me is not yacht rock. I knew that when I was saying it. But it is a song of a certain age, Jinx. And so because of that, I felt like I could make the humorous connection. But you're right. Technically speaking, I would not consider that yacht rock.
that is fair. The documentary does have a sort of, I don't know, a tip sheet of like yacht rock, not rock.
Not rock. That's funny.
It's like, what was it? Like Eagles, not rock. Like they're country rock. But
Lord Darth Torres pointed out in chat, I forgot to mention there was an announcement for a Sergeant Rock movie.
yeah, we hit that last week, but yeah, Daniel Craig and Luca Guadagnino, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Well, like,
Yeah,
Mark,
I believe you texted me and you were like, I didn't see this coming.
not in a million years would I pick this horse to finish the race, but like, I'd watch it. Like, I don't necessarily want a Mufasa prequel to The Lion King.
It's coming. You can't stop it. Trailer looks cute though.
But once you tell me that Barry Jenkins wrote and directed it, I'm like,
Makes you curious, doesn't it? Where you're
suddenly it's like, wait, what? I mean, okay, now I'll go and see this. Yeah, final bit of news. Denis Villeneuve had done an interview on the Town podcast in which he talks about having zero desire to make a Star Wars.
yeah, I saw this. He was like, no, tell him why.
He was like, I was in the target audience. I was I was 10 years old when it came out. It went to my brain like a silver bullet. I became obsessed with Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back is a movie that I anticipated the most in my life. I saw the movie a billion times on screen. I was traumatized by The Empire Strikes Back. I adore Star Wars. The problem is that, and I'm not doing his French Canadian accent, which is adorable, but I'm not going to try. The problem is it all derailed in 1983 with Return of the Jedi. I was 15 years old, and my best friend and I wanted to take a cab and go to LA and talk to George Lucas. We were so angry. Still today, it turned out to be a comedy for kids. Star Wars became crystallized in its own mythology, very dogmatic. It seemed like a recipe. No more surprises. So I'm not dreaming to do a Star Wars because it feels like the code is very codified. It's like, okay.
I mean, AKA, it would have been shorter for him to just say, I have Dune.
I made 2 Star Warses, man.
Yeah, it's like, why do I give a I've got Dune. I got my own Star Wars. I got proto Star Wars.
I know. I'm gonna make a third one at some point. Just you wait. Like I could do these for the rest of my life if I want.
Good for him, man. Like at the end of the day, being like, I mean, I'm sure somebody asked him the question. I'm sure he just didn't be like I woke up this morning, I felt the need to shit on Star Wars. But I'm sure somebody was like, why don't you, how come you ever gonna do Star Wars? And he was like, finally, somebody asked me because I've been waiting since I was fucking 9 to tell you they ruined Star Wars with Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, it's like you have finally opened the cork that has been inside my soul. Let me tell you why I don't want to make a Star Wars.
Anthony Zapata in chat goes, Cabby, take me to Lucas Pictures. That's a young Denis Villeneuve. If I was fucking George Lucas, I'd be like, look, you can fucking send all the kids you want my way. I didn't direct it. Go talk to Richard Marquand. I didn't write this shit.
Send me all of your children and let me break their hearts.
Yeah, really. Fucking blame those kids. Jason in chat says, Dune Prophecy, anyone? Matt, we already handled that. Mark had thoughts.
Yeah, scroll back. It's in there.
It's in there. It's in there. Yes. Denny is a sweetheart of a dude. And he don't like, look, you don't want to make a Star War. That's it. He thinks it's for children. I wonder if he's seen Andor.
Good question. It's a good question.
Andor is like, Dune adjacent to me, in as much as like everyone's grown up in this thing.
Yeah.
Nobody's running around going pew pew pew.
Doing paperwork.
Not enough pew pew in this to be considered for kids. This is for adults. Like, let's put down the pew pews and discuss this. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, fuck. All right, let's talk about fucking resource management. All right.
Roger Kaiser asks us, Red One, Kevin Mark?
I saw Red One.
And?
It's not bad. Like, it's not great, but like in the annals of Christmas movies that find a new way into that mythology and treat it sort of like Men in Black, but for Christmas, like it's kind of inventive at times. It's kind of
hold the phone. Digital Vortex just came in with this Superman Legacy trailer this month. It's been screened on the WB lot, apparently.
Ooh.
We get our first look at James Gunn's Superman. Probably have crypto in the trailer as we saw him online. That photo.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what movie they attach it to. What's coming out on Christmas from Warner Brothers?
Anybody even care about shit like that anymore? Like attaching a trailer to a thing? Like considering most of us ingest the trailer on our fucking phones.
I know.
Like what they got to do in order to make trailers magical again is not put it online and just fucking like for the first 2 weeks. It's like the only place you could see it is in a goddamn movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can only get away with that with certain movies, but if I was those certain movies, I'd be getting away with that shit, man.
I remember just doing that sort of the math of, okay, what studio has a movie coming out? Like what's the Disney movie that they could attach a Black Panther trailer to? And like, but you're right, it doesn't matter anymore. Just fucking put it online. Let it get 100 million views in a day. And that's what we get.
What was I watching? Somebody talked about that. Or They were talking about how like back in the day. Oh, I was watching an MTV, like the fucking look back at the MTV VJs that they did maybe 10, 15 years after, maybe 20 years after, like, the Mark, Marvelous Mark and fucking Triple J and
Mm.
Martha Quinn and Nina Blackwood and Alan Hunter and stuff. And they made this point that I was like, oh shit. Because, having been raised with MTV, I'm one of those people. It's like, why don't they just show fucking music videos anymore? And, their point was kind of like, artists don't even want to show music videos on MTV anymore because you can get billions of views on fucking YouTube, Vimeo, wherever the fuck. Like they couldn't show a fucking music video a billion times in a lifetime. Like, it's just, and when you look at it like that, you're like, yeah, I mean, in terms of just hitting the widest possible audience, MTV ain't it anymore. Now you can reach them in their fucking phones. You can hit them right in the pants.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, like that had something to do with it. It ain't just MTV. Wasn't there somebody at MTV going, I don't want to play music videos anymore? They lost popularity. The really weird thing though now is like they call MTV a ghost network because it just shows 24 hours of ridiculousness. Like, and I don't mean like that's not a fucking critique. That's a show, ridiculousness.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like it is that and the Sci-Fi Channel are the two greatest squanderings of goodwill I've ever seen on basic cable, which is, I mean, granted, yes, the audience, MTV abandoned music, and then the audience found their pipes for that elsewhere. But MTV still could have been a curatorial service, which is like, yeah, the internet has every music video, but do you know the ones you should watch? Do you know the best ones? Do you know the most interesting ones? Like, let us be DJs for you again. Let us help sift through all of this shit and give you the good stuff.
They
And
talked about in the doc, they talked about kind of like how, they were like, this was radio on TV. And I was like, oh my God, that's right. Like it was groundbreaking and it changed the way we consumed our music. And
mhm.
now it's changed again and it'll never go back. Like it's not like, radio never went away, right? Maybe they just lost listeners and stuff, but like MTV doesn't resemble what it was.
No, no, which is sad. And like I guess what you got out of radio was portability, even though satellite did steal much of that audience, was in my car I can do this thing. Whereas MTV needs you to be in front of your TV in order to ingest it. But they had a strangle. I mean, part of the Yacht Rock documentary is like Christopher Cross being like, man, I just couldn't compete. I was never gonna be fucking Twisted Sister. I was never gonna be Michael Jackson. I was never gonna be Pat Benatar. And like I was just a dude in a fucking polo shirt who was singing these songs with a guitar. And as you couldn't make that happen after 1982.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is a weird vestigial part of our childhoods how omnipresent MTV was. And the fact that it still exists in nothing resembling its former shape is bizarre.
Kind of like, I mean, not kind of like Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Just like these are two brands that you're like, oh my God, fucking, I'll be buried in a Blockbuster brand fucking coffin, I'm sure. And, fucking, and MTV will run footage from my funeral. Not anymore.
Nope. 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 Nope.
uh, all right. Where were we?
Q&A, I think, is the where we were.
Is it time? Oh, you know what? Lord Darth Torres. God, we should fucking make him a producer on the show. Rest in peace, Tony Todd.
Oh, the great Tony Todd.
Great Tony Todd, who we got to play with. Like it's wonderful in this job when you get to meet people whose work impacted you. And we got to work with the Candyman himself. He was wonderful. He was our Scareglow. Such a nice guy, such a sweetheart. passed way too soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it feels like he was one of those omnipresent actors who've just been around, like doing good work. I felt that way a little bit seeing Clancy Brown in the Penguin. It was like fucking Clancy Brown. Like that dude just been banging around since the 80s, just turning in strong work, committed to the bit. Tony Todd would be in just the randomest, most wonderful stuff because he liked performing, he liked acting. And if you gave him a decent role, like, yeah, man, I'll be there. I'll be a Klingon for you. I'll be a Candyman for you. I'll be Scarecrow for you. Like, give me a thing to do and I'll do it. And he was awesome.
What a great voice too. He came and did a reading of a script that me and Andy McElfresh did, and we did it at the Improv. Intelligence, it was called. And he came and pitched it with pinched. What is the term? Pinch hit.
Pinch. Yes. He pinch hit.
Pinch hitted with us. Yeah, great guy. Fucking have this discussion with the kid today. There's just no good way out, and it sucks that it ever has to end. But if it didn't, we wouldn't appreciate it at all. We take it for granted. Like so many. You'll be missed. Pour one out for the great Tony Todd.
Indeed.
Okay. BAMF Man. Oh, BAMF Man.
BAMF.
Jack Barry is asking in chat, any updates on Deepest Darkest Hair Director?
Yeah, we start shooting next week. Which
Mark's
is
making a movie, kids.
making a movie, you guys. It's gonna be great. But yeah, we're the train is moving. It leaves the station next Wednesday, I believe.
Choo choo. Victor Bottino says, bro, clean up your Smodcastle site. SMH. Smack my head. Why? What's the matter with the site? Is it just too difficult? Or what do you mean clean it up? Somebody put graffiti on it? I don't know what you mean.
Tell me.
It's the problem with the chat, right? Is because we're like a little delayed, so it takes a minute to ever find out when I'm fucking talking about my back to it.
While we wait, Shitty Movie Review says, I live in LA. Any chance I can be a background in the show? Well, you can. In a couple weeks, December 17th, at Scum and Villainy Cantina.
Well
Tickets.
Done, on sale right now. You can go to csmod.com or what are you, Eventbrite?
Yeah, fatman2024.eventbrite.com.
Indeed. So excited. It'll be good to be behind a bar again.
Kabuki Kid says, Kev, you are too trollable. I am. I'm a gullible man, kids.
I choose to interpret that as you're like one of those troll dolls, which is adorable and fluffy.
No, I don't have nearly enough hair to be a troll doll, Mark. I'm one of those troll dolls if it had a backwards baseball cap because it lost all of its crazy hair. All right, we got questions. You got questions. Right. We got answers. And that first question, I can guess right off the top of my head. Can I take a picture with you dressed as Santa this year? And the answer is yes, at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Thursday and Friday. Look at that. Look at that. Good times. Tickets at csmod.com. I think, I don't know if they're Eventbrite. They might be. Yeah, I think they're Eventbrite as well. Anyway, if that's not the question, then read us the question.
Question from DC World. With the end of the Arrowverse and the 23-year-old DC CW run yesterday, if you had been offered
How many years? How many years?
DC World says 23-year-old run. Is that possible?
Are they including Smallville?
Maybe they're including they would have to include Smallville.
Yeah, because I don't think the Arrowverse went for 23 years.
No. But probably 15, right?
I think they got, well, no, Arrow, they get 9 seasons out of Arrow, and that was the one that ran the longest.
2012. So 12 years. 12 years of
Well,
Arrow. Or of Arrowverse.
if you added another 11 years, that takes us back to Smallville, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they mean.
They are wondering if you had been offered a show during those years, which character would you have picked?
The Question, hands down. I still think that's, and somebody's going to do it. And I've read rumors online that they're talking about a Question series over there, which I'm all for. But I would have done that if somebody was like, you can do any character you want. I'd be like, oh my God, give me the Question. That no face, like that's fucking terrifying. And that would make a cool fucking like TV effect. And it also wouldn't have been that pricey. Would have been cheaper. It would have been like Arrow cheap. Like it wouldn't have been Flash or Supergirl expensive. And I know some people out there are laughing at this thought, but I mean, on a per episode basis, like the Flash and Supergirl were like more expensive than Green Arrow, because Green Arrow's, effects budget was just this shit. Ping, ping, putting in arrows. Supergirl, she had to fly. Flash had to run real fucking fast. The Question, cheap show, man. It's just that mask. That's it. So that's what I would have done. What about you?
Like I still feel like there's probably a pretty good Dead Man show that you could have done.
AJ was supposed to do it. I thought that was one of the dark Justice League characters that he was going to be doing when he was at Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I mean, the Demon is also super cool. Etrigan would have been
fucking Etrigan. Jason Blood, gone, the form of man, and rise the demon Etrigan.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. But yeah, I think Dead Man has so much potential, but yeah, it would have been expensive, I guess. But yeah, one of those two I would have rolled with, or would have helped you on Question.
Not cheap, but Plastic Man.
Which somebody in chat says it's rumored that Aronofsky may be doing a Plastic Man movie. I don't know if that's fucking true or that's something somebody said in chat, but could you imagine?
I mean, if Luca's gonna go do Sergeant Rock and fucking Aronofsky is gonna do Plastic Man, this is the most like.
It just feels like James Gunn reaching out to like the most interesting directors, which is why I'll never get called. I'm all for a fucking Aronofsky Plastic Man movie. That'd be fucked up. Ass to ass. They have a whole new meaning. Oh my Lord.
He's got too many asses.
He's gone ass to ass with himself. Eel O'Brien starts as a bad guy, becomes a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the plot of the Craven movie, from what I understand.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Poisonous Plants 15 says it's rumored to be more of a body horror type film.
Would have to be.
Yeah, truly. I mean, having seen fucking some of his other work, yeah. Can't imagine this is the movie where Aronofsky's like, time to lighten up.
It's a comedy. I'm a funny guy.
All right, what do we got?
Question 2, Glass Man. By 2035, Superman and Batman will both be in the public domain. Marvel decides to do a team-up between their characters and one of the two. What would you like to see for the crossover?
One more time?
So I guess Superman and Batman hit public domain in the year 2035. Kevin Feige does a crossover movie with either Superman or Batman. Who does he cross over with? What two characters?
Year to become public domain?
2035. So like 10 years.
Disney's going to buy all those DC characters long before then.
Yeah. Or Warner Brothers will figure out the same way that Disney figured out. Like, technically, Steamboat Willie is in the public domain, not Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Like, we'll never let Mickey Mouse go in the public domain, and neither will they let Superman or Batman go in the public domain.
But if I get to cross Superman and Batman over with any Marvel story.
Mhm.
You know, in I I mean it's hack, but like Batman I just want to put with Spider-Man just because I don't know why. No, I don't you know, honestly, I don't know. I Batman seems very not Marvel to me. You know what I'm saying? What's the Marvel aggregate? The Punisher? I guess Batman the Punisher, which
Yeah.
has been done in comics.
There's the Punisher. There's Tony Stark. There's Iron Man.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh, fuck me. Batman and fucking Iron Man. The Iron Bat. You know, we'll come up with the title later on.
We'll workshop it.
Oh my God, fucking yes. Because, you know, honestly, like in later years, I'm not a big Batman fan, and you're watching a show called Fat Man Beyond because of that. But I like cinematic Tony Stark. I identify more with the story of cinematic Tony Stark than I do with the story of Bruce Wayne. Because, you know, the Batman story is revenge based, right? Like I'm gonna strike the world, you know, the criminal element because they took my parents, and yes, there's an aspect of like I'm never gonna let anybody go through this again. But it's very, you know, look, I just saw the Batman movie. I'm vengeance. It's all about that. Tony Stark's story is about redemption. And that's what I like about that story. Like he starts as kind of self-involved and then learns to put everything else over himself, the greater good. He does the opposite of what his old man talked about in Endgame, where he's like, let's just say the greater good has rarely outweighed my own self-interest. And Tony flipped that script in his lifetime in front of our eyes, like over the course of a decade. And that story hits harder with me now as a middle-aged person than, you know, the story of my parents are dead, I'm mad. And not to shit on, I mean, obviously I love Batman, but I love cinematic Tony Stark. So yes, it wasn't my idea, but I would cross over Batman and Iron Man.
There you go.
What about you?
I think I would do Superman and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fun.
Yeah, I
Like
think
James Gunn directed.
We know guys who know guys.
He's like, look, this is my wheelhouse.
This is what I do, baby. But I think there's something super interesting about the fact that all Clark Kent wants or would want would be to revisit the planet on which he was born, but can't. And Peter Quill can go back home and never does. And it's like, bruv, you can do the thing that I've dreamed of doing, which is you can go home again. Like I adopted this place as my home and I love it, but what don't you love about where you were born? Like why not? What are you running away from, Peter Quill? And then yes, all of the funny, all of the cosmic, all of the fucking cool space shit. But I just think those two questions about, you know, these two guys who were kind of refugees from someplace, and their difference of opinion about it.
Gaylord of the Rings says in chat that Josh Brolin said he was up for Batman. Was he? I thought he was up for Green Lantern and then passed on that.
I think at some point, though, Josh Brolin was in the mix before Affleck got cast, when I think they were thinking about an older, you know, more Dark Knight Returns version of Batman, which I still think he'd be great at that. Like at this point, if you're just going to make Dark Knight Returns, do fucking that guy.
Ego Trip says the Kryptonian Herald of Galactus. All right. BAMF Man, you got anything you want to
add? Somebody in chat, John Elrod, said Superman and Thor could be a fun adventure. Two gods.
But we weren't provided those characters. I thought it was just Batman and Superman.
Well, Superman with a Marvel character.
Oh, Superman and Thor. You're right. Yeah,
they both lost their home worlds.
As long as they both fight space sharks and we get to fucking see it this time. I'd have it end up on the cutting room floor. I'm all for it. Superman punching a space shark in a stupid fucking mouth. That's what they get for trying to eat us.
Fuckers.
Yeah, you don't eat us. We know people.
I also feel like Superman and Loki would be a ton of fun. If Loki's the villain of a Superman story.
He ain't good with magic.
No.
It's one of his, like, kryptonite and magic are two things Superman ain't good with. All right. What else we got?
Oh, Victor Venn Diagram just said, what if Galactus is the one who destroys Krypton?
You have my attention.
Nice.
Superman's got to fucking beat the shit out of Galactus because he ate his homeworld and whatnot. He's coming to eat Earth. Oh, that's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is good. Well done, Victor Diagram. Victor Venn Diagram.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Last one. Devil Doc 915. Recast Wicked with Marvel or DC characters. Who do you Glinda and Elphaba, Marvel or DC characters? Or Marvel and DC? I mean, the money bet is Deadpool Wolverine. We know that works.
I would say your Elphaba is Raven from the Teen Titans or the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And your Glinda is what's her fucking name from the X-Men? You know, turns fucking icy and shit.
Oh yeah, Emma Frost.
Emma Frost, thank you. Emma Frost from Marvel as Glinda, and Raven from DC as Elphaba. Talking about types, archetypes, not obviously race. Yeah, Raven has that kind of like, hey man, darkness, and she eventually defies gravity, man, when she fights her father, Trigon. Deep cuts.
I go a different Raven. I go Raven Mystique as Elphaba.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
And I think I go Sue Storm as Glinda. I think there's a sweetness there. That would play nicely against, because I think there's something interesting about casting a villain or a villainess as Elphaba.
Luis Rodriguez said, Elphaba reminded me of Miles Morales. Hello Danger scene was like defying gravity.
It's a good one. It's a good.
You love both of those scenes.
I love both those scenes. It also reminds me quite a bit of the Paul Atreides stands up when riding the worm for the first time scene, which that movie makes a fucking meal out of. But yeah, it's the becoming scene. I am now who I was meant to be.
Kabuki Kid says archetypes. 3 syllables there, Mr. Smith. First off, did I use the term archetype anywhere?
I don't know.
Maybe I was reading it and I read it wrong. But apparently, do you know it to be 3 syllables? Archetype?
I think it's to a certain degree open to interpretation. Like you can go either way. Archetype. Interchangeably, I think it plays.
Yeah, I've just never heard it with 3 syllables. But then again, it's rarely a word that I hear out loud anyway. But we might have learned something today, kids.
Hey.
All right. Where were we?
I think that was it.
That's it.
We have answered the questions 3.
Yeah. Ibble Kabibble And chat says it's 2.5.
Compromise.
I like it.
Like it. Indeed.
2.5 syllables. This fall on CBS.
Kids, did you have a good time hanging out? Me and Mark bullshitting.
Live.
Good times, folks. If you're like, look, this ain't enough. I want to be with you in the real world. Well, shit, don't forget. Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be in New Jersey on the East Coast. You know what? I'm going to be Thursday morning. I'm going to be in Philly.
Ooh.
Going to WMMR is doing their camp out food drive. So I'm going to go and help rustle up some canned goods and whatnot.
Oh,
then heading down to New Jersey, of course, for Here Comes Santa Bob. Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Come take your pictures of me. Tickets at There's going to be a screening in a Muppet movie that I'm going to be at. And at Smart Castle Cinemas. And our Christmas movie, for which the living is easy. Let's just say.
Indeed. There's Rainbow Connection and then Argyle in the Garage.
That's right. Then I fly back to the West Coast, kids, and we do Babylon on Saturday night.
You're a busy dude.
And we do Fat Man Beyond on Tuesday night. Is that right?
Yeah, the 17th, baby.
Yep.
17th. All right. So 10 days from that battle. All right. Yeah, kids, there's lots of tickets. If you're like, what do I get? The Kevin Smith fan of my life, the Marc Bernardin fan of my life, or the enemy? What if you're like, I fucking hate this person. I know they hate Kevin Smith and Marc Bernardin. Well, we're the perfect gift, revenge gift to give to somebody you hate or somebody you love.
Lord Mooby in chat wants to know when Cruise Askew 26 tickets are going on the pre-sale for alums.
If I had to guess, early in 2025, but I got yelled at the last time I said anything about the fucking cruise. Jordan was like, shut the fuck up. So, but I would imagine if there was going to be something like that, it would be early next year.
I mean, theoretically.
Potentially. No chat. Yeah, Mean Dave says no chat to Bully Kev at live Scum and Villainy. That's right, kids. I can't read the fucking chat when I'm at Scum and Villainy. So come see the live show. That's when I just interact with the audience instead. They distract me.
You can pay to bully you.
That's right. You show up, put shit on the bar, be like, sign this. I get a lot of that shit when I'm there.
But we will get lousy with blue milks, and we will hold forth and tell tales.
That's right, man. We may get hammered. Kids, have you ever wanted to see fucking Silent Bob drunk?
He's the loudest silent drunk.
Come to the Scum and Villainy Cantina and watch it happen. Right before the holidays.
Santa Bob, drunken Bob.
Kids, if you had a good time tonight, bullshitting about all the things that don't matter, thank BAMF Man over there. He makes sure that you get to see us. Otherwise, me and Mark are just talking to each other going like, we should share this information.
Do you know how to open the pipes to the internet?
Nope. No way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you enjoy the content of this show, it is certainly not because of anything I fucking said. It's because of the other guy. There he is, down there. If I can do my Brady Bunch.
Nice.
Give it up for Marvelous Marc Bernardin, everybody.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you, sir.
There it is, kids. We hung out. We had a good ass time. And now that good time's over. A lot of life lessons in this show. You got to appreciate it while it's going on, because sooner or later it just stops.
It does.
Life is in the now, kids. Live in the now. Although all we do on this show is talk about the future.
And the slight past.
That's right. Fucking, they're like, what do you mean live in the now? You fuckers are so old. All you ever talk about is how shit used to be. And you're worried about your own fucking eventual demise.
Yeah. Here's a thing I just saw. Here's a thing happening 2 years from now.
Yeah, that's true. Live in the now, kids. Best advice we can give you here.
Indeed.
Batman Beyond. That and also, fucking go to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash this weekend. Kids, there it is. There's your show. There's your Fat Man Beyond. For Fat Man Beyond, I've been Kevin Smith.
And I've been Marc Bernard.
Tune in next time, good friends. Same fat time. Well, maybe not the same fat time because it's going to be at Scum and Villainy on what, December 17th?
Yes, 8 p.m. So maybe same fat.
Almost a week before Christmas. Tickets at csmod.com or at Eventbrite. Same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Happy holidays, kids, and a big old Jeff's kiss. Mwah. This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything.
Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Kissing you!